So last week we talked about storytelling, and I used the example of YouTube intros as like the place where people get it wrong all the time. And y'all were like, what? Help me. I need to know what to do in my YouTube intro. / what is an open loop? / I need more about the storytelling thing. So let me help you perfect, chef's kiss, your YouTube intro. This is gonna cause people to watch longer. This is going to cause people to be more invested. And this is gonna get you more watch time and view duration and all the things that come along with having a good YouTube intro. Say it with me. Let's go. Look, if I stretch my arms out with this wide angle lens, it looks like they're like 80 feet long. Ooh. Hi, hello, what is up? My name is Jessica Stansberry. If we have not met before, I hope that you're here. Something you should know about me is that I will never, ever pass up the opportunity to buy some kind of paraphernalia that has a curse word on it. No, never. So when I was visiting the Alamo, I bought this mug that says, "You may all go to hell, and I will go to Texas, Davy Crockett," because, you know, we like a man who tells it like it is. I don't live in Texas. I've been to Texas a lot, but cuss word on a mug, add to cart. All right, do me a favor. Are you still here? It would be really awkward if you weren't. If I was like, "Hey guys, who's still here? Here," and nobody was here, it'd be super freaking awkward, right? But I just did everything I'm about to tell you in this video in the first few seconds of this video. So if you're still here, you are proof that the way I'm gonna teach you YouTube intros works. So if you're still here, do me a quick favor and scroll on down to the comments and hit me up with holy poop emoji comment. Like holy, because me and my curse words, right? Because I just did what I'm about to teach you how to do to get you to stay this long in the video, and I need you to acknowledge that I gotcha, right? Like, holy shit, she totally just did that. Leave that in the comments, okay? Now, last week we talked about storytelling, and I told you all about like how to structure a video so that people stick around and blah, 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 blah. And I really used the intro as a lot of my examples. And honestly, I think this is the most important part of your YouTube video. Like, as long as you can get someone past that first like 20 seconds of your video and get them wanting to watch, you've done about 50% of the work. Now, yeah, you have to do some storytelling and do some things throughout the video to get them to continue to watch to the end, which is the goal. But if you can get them like hooked, remember, we're gonna put our hook in people. You can get them hooked in the very beginning of the video, you have done most of the work. But so often I see people being like, "Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica." Or, "Today we're gonna talk about storytelling. I'm gonna teach you how to keep people's attention." And neither of those things are what you're supposed to be doing, okay? The intro has got to intro and also hook, because if it doesn't do those two things, people aren't sticking around. So we're gonna keep it super freaking simple. There's only 2 steps to this. If you wanna make a good YouTube intro that's gonna keep people watching for the duration of the video, there's only 2 steps. Now, those 2 steps have some steps themselves, but there's only 2. So it's gonna make it really easy. And the first one, y'all, the first one happens before you say a freaking word in your video. It happens before anybody even clicks on the video. Because in order to nail a YouTube intro, you have to nail your thumbnail and title. Don't run away. I promise I know what I'm talking about here. So many creators treat the thumbnail and title like an afterthought. You're like, "Oh, let me make this video, make the video, blah, blah, blah," right? And then it's like, what should the thumbnail be? What should the title be? And y'all, I'm here to tell you, you're doing it backwards. You should always start with the title and the thumbnail. You should have an idea of what your thumbnail and your title are before you ever hit record. That should be step number 1, because it is literally the first thing that hooks the viewer. Now, you have your job to do once they get on the video to actually hook them in the intro. But if you're looking to get people to click and get people onto the video so that you can do that job, you have to nail the title and the thumbnail. Think about it. When someone is deciding what video to watch, whether they came in through search, whether they came in through suggested or home or subscription or whatever, right? They are judging the book by its cover. Absolutely judging the book by the cover and the title of the book. They are saying, oh, I want to watch that video. And if you do your job right with the title and the thumbnail, they literally go ahead and open a loop, which we're going to talk about open loops again in a second because y'all needed some more explanation on that. But they go ahead and open a loop before you ever even hit record. So how do you actually make a good title and a thumbnail? Well, I mean, that's the $1 million question, right? Like it really is. And I have a blue million videos about titles and thumbnails here on this channel, and I teach a lot about titles and thumbnails in my membership Crash. But to kind of simplify it and really give you the formula here on this video, your title needs to have some keywords and some sass. So your title obviously needs to have keywords in it that are going to get you found in search, in suggested, as YouTube says, oh, this video is about whatever the keyword is. We're going to show it to people who want to see more of those types of videos because they've been watching other videos or whatever. And the viewer needs to see those keywords in the title if that's what they're looking for. So there has to be keywords in there, or nobody knows what in the world the video is about, right? YouTube doesn't know, so it can't put it out to the right people. The audience doesn't know, so they can't click. But there needs to be a little bit of sass. There needs to be a little something that goes beyond the keywords that causes people to say, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to watch this video. So take this video of mine where I'm talking about telling better stories. That last video that I did, I could have just been like, how to tell better stories. But instead of doing that, I decided to incorporate the keywords, better stories, storytelling, whatever I wanted to go for, right? And make it a little sassier. So instead of how to get better at storytelling or how to tell better stories, I said tell better stories. It's short, it's sweet, it's gonna get your attention, it's gonna tell you what it's about, it's gonna tell the algorithm what it's about, and it makes you want to click. Or this video where I'm trying to tell you how to make better videos. I could have just said how to film better YouTube videos. No, I said, so you wanna make better videos? Here's how. You see, there's a little bit of keywords and a little bit of sass. That's gonna make people wanna click. Then you use the thumbnail to add to that. This is the part so many people miss, okay? People are using the thumbnail to reiterate the title. Y'all don't do that. Don't do that. No, never. Absolutely not should you ever reiterate the title in the thumbnail. I don't know who's teaching that or who's telling you that, but don't do it. It does not get more keywords out into the algorithm and make YouTube more likely to show your stuff. It does not do anything like that. All it does is wastes the valuable real estate that is your thumbnail by reiterating the title that they already saw anyway. I think beyond I think somebody's teaching this in a bad way, but I think beyond that, as we're uploading videos, we think of the title and the thumbnail as separate, right? Because we're putting in the title, we're going out to Canva or Photoshop or whatever, we're designing the thumbnail, and we're not seeing the two together. But there is never a situation, never, ever, ever a scenario where your title and your thumbnail are not seen together. They're always seen together. They are conjoined twins. They will never, ever, ever, ever be anywhere on the YouTube platform separately. There is nowhere on the YouTube platform where you will see a thumbnail for a video and not the title. There is nowhere on the YouTube platform that you will see the title for a video and not the thumbnail. Do you get my point? They will always be together. So to reiterate the title in the thumbnail is wasting the valuable real estate that is your thumbnail, which, going back to the point of this video, is the first step to hook people and get people on your YouTube video so you can make a rockstar intro, so you can get people to watch longer, so you can have more view duration, so you can have more subscribers, all the things. So you know you shouldn't reiterate the title in the thumbnail, but what should you do in your thumbnail? Well, you should add to the title. You should add to the title, add a little something something that makes it even more of something that's gonna stand out, makes it even more of something that people wanna click on. And hopefully between the title and the thumbnail together, you're gonna invoke some type of emotion that's gonna cause people to wanna click. Sometimes, y'all, I'm gonna blow your minds here too. Sometimes you don't even need words in your thumbnails. The point is to zhuzh up the title. Is to say, okay, here's the title. We had a little bit of keywords, we had a little of sass. That makes people want to click. How can we use the thumbnail to do that even better? To add to that. The little extra spicy spice in the pasta, you know? And I get this. This does not always come super naturally to everybody. I totally understand. But you have to understand how a thumbnail and a title work together to be able to get people's attention. And in order to do that, you should probably go study other people's titles and thumbnails. Study books. Books have a title and a graphic cover, right? It's not just, all books are not just like white covers with black text that say the title. That wouldn't do anything, right? That's gonna help a little bit, but most titles are a little obscure. You don't totally know what they're going for. And if it was completely blank like that, you wouldn't have anything else to base it off of. So how can you make the title and the thumbnail or the book cover work together to get people to click? I'm gonna use this video as an example. This is the video I did on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. By the way, I love that little camera. I thought I was gonna have to film this video like outside today because we're in full summer kids sports, all the things mode, and I thought I was gonna have to go somewhere. I ended up not having to, but I was charging that puppy to take it with me so that I could film this video on that. Love it so much. But I did this video and the title, it was about the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, right? And this is a good example of a title situation too. Instead of just being like my review of the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 or DJI Osmo Pocket 3, I said, OMG, this camera is changing everything for me. Separator, DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Because I knew that my title needs to make y'all want to click. What's gonna make my video about the Pocket 3 different from the thousands of other people who put out a video about it? But I also need that name of the camera and all of that stuff in the title to really get the SEO. But then here's the thumbnail. There's no words on it. There's drawings. There's little hieroglyphics, you know? There's hearts, there's smiley faces, there's arrows, there's things drawing attention to the camera because I'd already said everything I needed to say in the title. And what I really needed to do was showcase what I was talking about. I didn't need other words. Now, take this video for instance. The title of the video is Every Creator Needs These Streams of Income. And that again is getting in the keywords, but also adding in a little bit of sass because I wasn't just like 3 streams of income for creators. It was every creator needs these streams of income. And in the video, I don't talk about AdSense at all. I don't talk about AdSense as the thing that you need. Instead of putting that in the title, I went ahead and reserved that for the thumbnail. I reserved that to be on the thumbnail, not AdSense, on the thumbnail. This definitely takes some practice, it does, but it is so freaking important to nail your title and nail your thumbnail as the first part of nailing the intro, because if you do not get them there, if you don't hook them there, you can't hook them in your verbal intro or in whatever you do as your intro in the video. So like I say, go study other people's thumbnails. I teach about thumbnails in Crash, my membership to help you be a full-time creator. Learn about thumbnails, okay? I have tons of videos on here about thumbnails specifically, but learn about thumbnails, learn about titles. That's step number 1. And while I think that thumbnails and titles are hands down the most important thing you need to worry about, especially in the very beginning, because if nobody's clicking your video, nobody can watch your video, so you can't worry about any of the other stats. After they have clicked your video, after the thumbnail and the title, the most important thing is the first 5 to 10 seconds of your video. The viewer has 100 million options of videos to watch about a certain topic that they want to learn about or watch or like whatever. So if you do not hook them, they are off to the next one, old son. If you get the reference of the old son, you may live in a household full of cowboy Southern boys like I do, but I digress. Those first 5 to 10 seconds are so important because this is literally the moments, the seconds, the things that cause someone to say, yes, I want to stay and watch the rest of this video, or at least the next few minutes of this video, or no, I'm going to click off now and go to one of the other videos I found in search or suggested or whatever. And that is why saying, hi, welcome back to my channel, and wasting that first 5 seconds is not okay. That is also why saying, my title and thumbnail just said this and I'm going to tell you about it again, and wasting that first 5 to 10 seconds is not okay. You do not open your videos with, hi, welcome back, here's who I am, or with a reiteration of the title and the thumbnail. As much as we don't reiterate the title in the thumbnail, we also don't reiterate the message you conveyed in the title and the thumbnail in the intro of the video. It's not necessary. Now, to be completely honest, If you're struggling between these two things, like, hi, welcome back to my channel, I'm Jessica, we talk about X, Y, and Z, or today we're gonna talk about how to make a killer YouTube intro, let me show you how to do that, I would much rather you reiterate the title and the thumbnail than introduce yourself. But both are bad, okay? So mark them off the list. So if you don't want to reiterate the title and the thumbnail because they already know what they're there for, that's why they click the freaking video, and you don't want to say, hey, welcome back to my channel, I'm so-and-so, here's what I do, and you don't want to do that, what do you want to do? You want to create an open loop. We talked about open loops last week. We talked about open loops when I was telling you about storytelling. And I'll be honest, open loops are something that I fully understand in my brain, and I'm not sure I'm very good at explaining. But I'm gonna try again because several of you were like, I still don't fully understand this open loop thing. And I totally get it. So what an open loop is that instead of a story being like secular, right? Like it's gonna start, it's gonna end, it's gonna come back, like whatever, right? I don't like portraying story in a circle because it's not like it's gonna come back to the beginning, although it does sometimes. But let's say that a story is a circle, right? You have the beginning, you have the middle, the climax or whatever, and then you have it rounding up and the end. Let's say that's what we're talking about. Instead of it being a perfect circle, there needs to be gaps in that circle that are filled as we round out the video. So this was the graphic that I used in the storytelling video to kind of explain open loops. If a story is linear, beginning, middle, end, if a story is linear, instead of it being a completely solid line, there's a gap specifically in the beginning. You can make gaps throughout the whole damn thing if you want to, but there's a gap in the beginning that at the end, your video comes back and fills in. So in its most simple form, if I say something like, oh my gosh, y'all, you are not gonna believe what happened. And then I edit it and I break it and I maybe go to 24 hours before it and we do like a vlog style situation, and then I get back to what that was in the end of the video, that is an open loop. Telling a story where you don't fill in all the details at once, where you tell them that they are missing something, where you tell them that they're gonna be excited about whatever this is, but you don't give it to them yet. So you know how, I thought Rip was back here, I was gonna use him as an example, but he's not. You know how with a dog, right? Like if you're training a dog and you have a treat, they are wanting that treat, right? Like they want that treat. But in order to get that treat, they have to sit, they have to roll over, they have to do whatever. So they're gonna do the things to get the treat. And you showed them the treat. They have to do the things in the middle and then they get the treat. That's an open loop. You show them a little bit of the treat. You show them a little sneaky peeky of the treat, right? Then they have to do the pony tricks and watch you do the pony tricks, and then they get the treat at the end. That's, like I say, that's as simple as, oh my gosh, you're not gonna believe what happened, cut, fill in some details, then tell them what happened. That's also as simple as spoiling the big thing and then like leaving them with questions about how that happened. So you have to tell them the story. That's also as simple as showing them a funny thing that happened and then flashing back to the events that happened to get to that point. So I have a story that's always my favorite icebreaker. And if you've been here a while, you've heard it, but I've not told it in a while. So that's a fun one. But I had a cow give birth on my car one time. Like for real. A cow plucked out a baby on the hood of my car. Yep, happened to me. For real. No joke. No cap. Is that what the kids say these days? No cap? Hey, Kason, does cap mean I'm lying or telling the truth? Okay, so if I say no cap, it means I'm not lying. Okay, thank you. Okay, no cap. When I tell that story, I don't start with like, okay, so one time we were living at our little house right when we first got married. They have no reason to continue listening to the rest of the story. This sounds like a really freaking boring story. But if I start that story with, one time a cow gave birth in my car. Yeah, really. And then if they don't audibly ask how it happened, their brain is like, how does that even happen? What the heck? I don't understand. So I am then given the freedom to make this story as long as I need it to be because their attention is there. I've got their attention. I just need to fulfill that promise of telling them how a cow gave birth in my car. If you want to hear that whole story, stick around to the end. I'll tell you in a minute. So essentially, opening a gap and creating an open loop is getting them to want to stick through maybe some boring stuff or some information they're not interested in to get to the thing that you promised them. So creating an open loop in the beginning is making them want to sit through the kind of boring stuff or the stuff that they may not find as interesting, like the, hey, my name is Jessica, welcome back to my channel, story about my mug, all of that kind of stuff, to get around to the part they do find interesting. And you can create open loops throughout the entire freaking video. Did you just notice that I made you want to stick around to the end to hear my cow story? Yeah. It's a freaking open loop. So if you want to nail your YouTube intro, if you want to cause people to stick around until the very end of the video, until you've gotten to the end where you're telling them things where there's some boringness, blah, 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 you've got to hook them and make them interested from the very beginning. It starts with your title and your thumbnail, and then it is coupled with you using your verbal intro, or sometimes it's not even verbal, y'all. Sometimes it's a funny scene, or sometimes it's a thing that happened, or it's a clip from a travel vlog. It doesn't have to be funny. It doesn't have to be anything. It just needs to hook them. Those two things coupled together are going to make you a magnetic, rock star, fire, bomb intro that causes people to want to stick around through the rest of the video. And that, my dears, is how you increase view duration. That, my dears, is how you increase subscribers. That, my dears, is how YouTube says that's a really freaking good channel because people stick around on her videos more than they stick around on most people's videos. So let's show more of her videos to those people because our whole goal here is to get people to stick around. That is how you get videos with really high statistics that get a lot of views. That is how you do this whole thing. It's as simple and as easy as that. All right, sit down. Story time. My cow story. So legit, I had a cow give birth on my car one time. This was back in 2008, probably. And my husband and I got married in 2007. 2008, I was working a full-time job. He was too, but we lived like 30 minutes from town. And we lived in this little tiny house that we rented for $150 per month. Yeah, our landlords were the freaking best. But anyway, $150 a month, this tiny little house, and it was in the middle of this family's farm. So like right across the road from us, there was always goats, there was always cows, there were things everywhere. And it was not abnormal at all to come home and find goats on my porch, cows in the yard, whatever. Well, I should also note that my job at the time, my boss loathed me. Like, she hated me so much. She was constantly on me about something. Like, I would log into my phones at 7:59 and she was like, because I was in customer service, so I'd have to log in the phone. And she'd be like, why are you not logging in until 7:59? And I was like, because I don't get paid till 8 o'clock. And she didn't like that. I would be running in the back friggin' door at 7:56 so that I could log in by 7:59. Sometimes at 7:59 so I could log in at 7:59 because I don't do mornings and I lived 30 minutes from work. So it's just the way it was. Again, I didn't get paid till 8 o'clock, so I didn't care. Anyway, homegirl did not like me, okay? Put that on a shelf somewhere because you need to know it in just a minute. So I'm getting ready for work one morning and my husband got to work earlier than me. His work was a little further out than mine, but also he didn't get there at exactly 8 o'clock like I did. So he would always leave a little bit before me because his work was further out and he wanted to get there earlier. That was not abnormal at all. So this particular morning, he leaves, cool, whatever. I finished getting ready and I am, as always, pushing my limits on the time I'm going out the door. It is, if I don't walk in my car and back out right that second, I'm gonna be late. I walk outside and standing in front of my white Toyota Corolla, just staring at it with perplexed looks on their faces, is my husband and my landlord. And as I peek around the corner, to see what they're staring at on the hood of my white Toyota Corolla? It is full of blood. Blood and afterbirth. I probably should have put a trigger warning at the beginning of this story. But I guess if a cow gives birth in my car, you know there's probably some gore. So they're just standing there looking at it like, oh my God, what just happened? And I have no idea what just happened. All I know is that my husband and my landlord are looking at my white Toyota Corolla with a cow-shaped dent in the hood and blood and afterbirth everywhere. Now, I don't know the shape of the dent is a cow, but I find out later it is. And I'm like, y'all, what in the Texas happened? What in the hell happened here? And that is when they proceed to tell me that a cow was trying to give birth and she was too young to give birth. Like she had gotten pregnant on accident, because that happens to cows too, you know? And she had gotten pregnant on accident. She was too young to give birth. Landlord knew this and saw her trying to give birth and was like, oh my gosh, I need to help her because she's too young to know what to do. So he's trying to help her give birth. And if you've never been around a farm, one thing they need to do to help a cow or an animal of any sort give birth is to stabilize it. And this sometimes involves tying it somewhere, right? Like they don't need the cow like running everywhere because again, they can't catch it. I assume from the story I got told, the cow was tied to like a fence post and the landlord is trying to help it. Insert husband going to leave for work and sees this happening and is like, oh, I'm a farm boy, I'm gonna help. So he goes to help the landlord. Both of these helpers are trying to help Mama Cow, and she doesn't like them in her nether regions. Again, as birth goes. And she starts just freaking the frick out. She's like, absolutely not. You are not permitted to see these things. I am getting away from you. And she proceeds to break loose of however they chained her to a fence post. And in doing so, broke out of the fence and comes into my yard. To which, you know, she feels something coming out and she doesn't know what in the world it is. She's freaking out, you know. So she's bucking, you know, like if you were riding a bull, she's bucking through my yard. And she bucks one final time. And as she bucks, her back feet land on the hood of my car. And as the back feet land on the hood of my car, out comes baby cow. Blood, afterbirth, and all. You can imagine that when I called my supervisor to tell her I was gonna be late to work, because at this point, at the very least, I had to go spray off my car. Like I couldn't just drive that around. That she was like, oh, well, what happened? And I was like, well, a cow just gave birth on my car. 100% to this day, she probably still does not believe that. And I wish I had pictures. We didn't have, I mean, I had like a razor phone that probably could have taken a picture, but it wasn't like the normal situation. And so I do not have pictures. But I traded that car with the dent in that hood. And I left a note explaining what happened in the glove box. So whomever bought it after me, if the dealership didn't fix the dent, knows the story of the cow and the car.